Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jessie, and welcome back to another episode of Rewire to Inspire. The show where we'll dive into self-love, learn tangible ways to rewire the brain, and discovering your soul's purpose. The goal of Rewire to Inspire is to encourage listeners to begin doing the hard work, to get curious and open to maximizing your life. Our mindset shapes how we live. Depending on life events, traumas, and personal experiences, our mindsets are all vastly different. However, one thing we all have in common is the ability to rewire our mind, to change the narrative, and to pivot our lives. I hope you leave each episode with the belief that you are so worthy to live a life true to you. I look forward to chatting with you every single Tuesday and Thursday and helping you grow exponentially in all areas of your life. Without further ado, here's today's episode. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to my podcast, Rewire to Inspire. I am your host, Jessie Brown, and I am so excited to be jumping on the microphone with you all for episode number 90. 90! So exciting. We are 10 away from hitting 100, and I am just so excited to be here, so excited to just share with you all. And today is one that I am so excited about, and I always try to share from my personal experiences while providing value. And I think that that's kind of exactly what a podcast is in a nutshell, or really should be in a nutshell, depending on the type of podcast you're doing. But I'm so excited because today I'm going to be sharing with you all my top 10 learnings since beginning my personal development journey 2 years ago. And the reason in which I want to share this isn't to just, kind of share my learnings just to share them, but to show the amazingness that can happen when you just decide to commit to yourself and you decide that you're worthy of wanting more and you're worthy of living a life true to you. And I just think it's such a beautiful thing. And I want to just set that tone for our society and for the next generation to follow, that personal development is going to be unique to all of us. It's going to look different to all of us, because it's a unique journey for each and every one of us. But I think oftentimes when we think of the word personal development, we can have some aversions to it because we think, ugh, that sounds like really boring. I'd rather just do the same things. But what if that's just a protector? What if those of us that have become stuck doing the same things, it's just because that's where we feel safe? And maybe beginning to do the work on yourself, or beginning to expand your consciousness and learn something or go all in on you. Maybe it's just that you don't have the belief or feel like you're worthy of that. And I just wanted to share that because in the beginning of my journey, I definitely didn't think I was worthy or really knew what I was doing. I just knew I was tired of living in a toxic headspace. I knew I was tired of telling myself every day, you're shy, you're stupid, you're worthless, why are you here? Nobody cares, etc., like very, very toxic. And I don't think that a lot of people know that about me, because on the outside, I masked that very well. I carried myself well. I've faked it for so long. And deep down, there was always so much pain and negative self-belief about myself. And so now that I've been going through this journey for 2 years and just realizing the benefits that come from just working on yourself every single day in whatever capacity that looks like for you is such a unique thing, and something that I think all of us deserve more of. I think that so many of us are just okay doing the same things. We get comfortable. We get, we're just okay with it. And I think society gives us that permission to be okay with it through, giving us Netflix at one click of a button, giving us access to terrible food for us just super easily, feeding our brains with all these videos on social media, false advertising, alcohol, substance, just everything across the board is just designed to keep us small and to keep us safe. And then we add a brain on top of that just wants to keep us safe. We basically have the perfect recipe for staying stuck, for getting depressed, for getting anxious, for feeling uncertain, for feeling overwhelmed. It's like it all makes sense if you take a step back and you zoom out. But it's very hard to see that when you're still in it, because I definitely didn't have the awareness or the consciousness when I was living in that headspace or in that orbit to recognize that. But now that and again, I'm not tooting my own horn by saying this has come through doing the work. I'm not joking, every single day for 2 years. When everybody else is out at parties having fun, I'm here sitting at my computer doing the work, reading the books, doing research, recording a podcast, failing over and over and over and over again. And nobody can see that. Nobody understands that. Not nobody. Those that do, and those that don't, and that's okay. But it's just lit this fire within me to just come back. Where did I start? Where did I start from? Because often when we start to excel, we kind of lose touch with where we came from. And that shows growth, but also I don't want to forget how I was at the beginning of this journey, because I know what it's like to feel like everything is just so overwhelming. And so if you're starting your personal development journey, if you're beginning to work on yourself, if you're going after your goals, start small and build. Don't jump. Don't burn yourself out in the very beginning that you can't even get to the end, right? A huge thing that I'm seeing happening right out of the get-go of New Year's is everybody's just jumping right in. I'm going to read 30 books this year. I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year. I'm going to save $100,000 this year. I'm going to this. And it's like these massive goals that are amazing. But if you don't have the foundation or the belief within that, you're likely not going to achieve that goal. And when that happens, it basically amplifies our belief of not being good enough, not being worthy enough, not being smart enough, etc. We feel like a failure, and we're actually end up getting knocked 10 steps further backwards than if we just set smaller goals for ourselves and built from there. So I wanted to just kind of give that permission before diving into some of my learnings, because I recognize that through all of this, it was not an easy journey, but it has been a life-changing journey. So without further ado, let's dive into my top 10 learnings since beginning my personal development journey. Number 1, you are way more capable than you think. Way more capable than you think. When I started this journey, Jessie then had such an aversion to public speaking, to talking in front of other people, to just using my voice in any way, shape, or form. I thought that I held on to just all those identities I shared. I'm stupid. I'm less than. Why would anybody care? Why would anybody listen? Who am I? Like, I'm bad at math. I'm bad at science. The only thing I felt like I was good at was sports. And when that was taken away from me through my basketball journey, which if you haven't heard that story, that's a story in and of itself. However, I didn't really recognize that I had the capability. And again, it was through small little things over time that I built up my resiliency. I built up my tools. I built up my capability. I built up my awareness. I built up my intelligence. I built up my, strengths. But I think we dim our light so small that we forget how capable we are of things. We forget how good we can be at things. Think about it. From the time you're born till now, what's the contrast there? Probably pretty freaking big. You probably can do things now that 4-year-old you didn't even know what it meant. That just shows your capability was more. That just took time and age and effort and learning and getting feedback and seeking support from your parents or guardians or whoever to get awareness, to learn from them, right? But you're just so much more capable than you think. And that was one of my biggest learnings through this journey is I'm so much more capable than I ever gave myself credit for. And when I was operating out of that space of not having belief, no wonder I didn't take action in the beginning, because I didn't feel like I could. So a huge thing that we can do is to get out of our comfort zone in small ways, take action and learn from it, get new awareness, and repeat. Get out of your comfort zone, take action, learn from it, get new awareness, repeat. My second point, not all people will understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and that's okay. Release what is no longer in alignment so you may attract what is. This has been the most lonely, humbling journey of my life, because old persons, places, things, and ideas are no longer in alignment, and I just have a very hard time relating to it. And for a while I pretended to. I would still hang around the same people and try to make them happy, try to fit in, try to just, dim my light to make them feel better. And as soon as I stopped doing that, the right community came into my life, and I'm now able to just grow that much brighter. So if you are on your journey to bettering yourself and you're finding like, I do not relate to anybody anymore, I do not relate to crap I see on social media anymore, the 6-minute ad thing or whatever it is, like these quick fixes to becoming a millionaire, quick fixes to losing weight, like those things start to just become so unrelatable because you know that it takes massive work to get those results, and you just become very lonely. It's something that Next Level University refers to as lonely land. It's basically that contrast period between your old you and your future you, and you're in that in-between stage of, well, I don't relate to the old people things in my life, but I don't really know what those new people and things are in my life. So you're kind of just stuck in that middle. Stay in that middle. Do not revert back. One of the members of the team used an analogy that I loved. It basically like you walk through a cave and you're standing in the middle. You can still see the light behind you. So you're like, I have sureness that I can run out of this cave. You can't see in front of you yet. You know, eventually there's a way out. Like theoretically, let's imagine there's a way out on the other end. You can't see it yet. And so you're just walking in the dark and you are just holding on to faith. And at any time you can sprint and turn around the other way, or you can keep going in the dark and keep hustling and keep going until eventually you get to your light, you get to that other side, and it is such a more rewarding, fulfilling space to be. So if that is you, I know I've had a couple of you reach out to me and just say, thank you for giving me that permission because I don't really relate to my old friends anymore. I don't really relate to my family anymore. That's okay, and you don't have to. That shows that you're growing, and those that are going to get you will, and they might not be in your life yet, but I promise you it is through living in alignment that the law of attraction will work in your favor. So stick with it, and I promise you you're not alone. I am here. If you ever want to connect and talk about anything personal development related, that is my jam. That is what I'm here for. We can talk about the boring things together that I think are actually quite amazing and fulfilling. Number 3. Failing is the best thing that you can possibly do in the world. Imagine that. Imagine we were taught that in school. Obviously through context, we're not going to go to a class and say, everybody failed. That means that you tried. No, but we were grown up and we're brought up in a world that teaches us that failure is a bad thing. But we're not recognizing the context of that, right? Like, let's say, for example, you do write a test and you fail. Okay. Now you have the answers of where you don't know knowledge, where you're not, getting it right. So you can take that awareness, you can go study it, and you can get better, and you can try again. But the thing is we get that test back, we get that feedback, and we're like, I'm stupid. I'm a failure. I'm less than. Everybody else is better than me. And we have like this pity party for ourselves. So it's what's your relationship with failure is really the question. And I want to do a whole episode on that in and of itself, because our relationship with failure is really what's going to determine the outcome of our life. Because failure is inevitable, right? Not getting the results you want is inevitable. It's what you do with that feedback. Do you take it and get curious to try to get better, or do you allow it to control you and amplify your negative identity about yourself? Failing means that you tried. And when we try, that means that there's a willingness, and that means that we're going to get new awareness, and then that means that we're able to adapt and switch and do something different. Failure is amazing, but it's what you do with it that matters. If you fail at the same thing over and over and over again because of the same reasons, you might want to switch your approach. But if you fail over and over and over again, but you're always doing something different, you're going all in, you believe in what you're doing before failing, that's a different story. Stick with it long enough and keep pivoting, and I promise you'll land on something. Failure is amazing. I'm obsessed with it, but in all the right ways. Number 4, you will likely have identity crisis all the time. Growing means old persons, places, things, and ideas will become unrelatable, as I mentioned. You'll likely feel lonely, misunderstood, confused with self, right? Questioning the world, questioning everything around you, questioning your identity. You're like, I don't fit in there. I don't fit in here. I don't even know myself. Basically refer to it as like shaking your snow globe. You shake yourself. You're shaking your awareness. You're shaking your whole orbit of self. And it can just cause you to have these small identity crises. all the time. And that has literally been the definition of the last year of my life, is just constantly getting to know myself, getting to awareness. Oh, okay. Don't recognize myself anymore, doing the work. Okay, I feel good today. It's just a constant journey. And I think that happens through massive growth because we're changing so much. So of course, not only are unrelatable to all the things around us, we're also unrelatable to ourselves. And so recognizing that through a personal development journey, you will likely have identity crises all the time. And again, the reason that I'm sharing these is to just give kind of that forward contract almost of you will likely experience these should you go all in on your personal development journey. Number 5, my 5th learning, keep your circle small, protect your energy. People will try to veer you off your path through their own insecurities. Speak your truth and protect your energy. This one has been massively challenging for me because my circle has become so small. And it's amazing because I'm no longer trying to keep people in my life happy that aren't meant to be there. But it can be hard when some of those people, are your family, are close friends you've had your whole life. It can be really hard when you feel like you've grown so much that you even become unrelatable to your direct family. That can be really, really hard because you almost feel like you have to dim yourself down around them and you can't be your true self. And this is all stuff that kind of happens subconsciously, but that's why keeping your circle small, putting in boundaries and protecting your energy is going to be huge and vital, especially if you want this to be a lifelong journey. Numero 6, number 6, here we go. Old trauma will likely surface. Our good friend trauma, our old stuff we have suppressed, all that crap from childhood, all that stuff from high school, the pain that we felt that we suppressed, it's like that will likely all surface through this journey. And as you lean into personal development, you're really forced by default to become more self-aware. And last Monday and this Monday, I did episodes all about self-awareness. Last Monday was all about, will more self-awareness give you more grit? And this week was all about things and questions and practices that you can do to deepen your self-awareness. But on this journey, you will almost be forced to become self-aware. And through that journey, that can mean that old feelings might surface. So be gentle with yourself as you go through them and as you feel them. One of the biggest parts of personal development is healing. It is taking time to heal ourselves and to validate our experiences and things that we've gone through. So knowing that a part of the journey is focusing on that. My coaching that I offer is just as much coaching as it kind of is that therapeutic side. What have you gone through that has kind of led you here? What is your relationship with personal development? Why do you want to go all in on personal development? Are you trying to prove a point? Are you trying to, get back at someone who told you were stupid at one point? Are you mad at the world? Are you mad at yourself? Beneath all of our whys, there's a reason, and it's usually massive pain. And so we have to know that if we're going to go all in on personal development, old experiences and thoughts and beliefs and things are going to surface, and we have to be willing to be gentle with ourselves to go through that journey. Number 7, you will never look at the world the same. This is one that no one told me. If I could have listened to this podcast in the beginning of my journey, honestly, I probably wouldn't have started, if I'm being completely honest. But now that I'm in it, I'm like, there's no other way for me to live because it's just so beautiful and it's such a rewarding journey. But you will never look at the world the same. You will call a spade in your mind. You will see the BS that is between the lines. You will see the flared up versions of people. You will see people pretending to be all macho when I know that they're not doing the work behind the scenes. You'll see those books like 6-Minute Abs or whatever, and you'll know that it's unrelatable. Just when we begin to do personal development and raise our self-awareness and have higher consciousness, it means that you're uncovering your perception of the world. And you'll begin to notice energy differently. And this is largely focused on a growth versus a fixed mindset. When you have a growth mindset, you just naturally do look at the world differently. But I look at the world so much differently than I did 2 years ago. And there's so many glitches and things that I see that are negative, but it's also turned my brain to gratitude of all the amazingness in which is our world itself. Nature, the mountains, the rivers, the animals, air, just like the world in and of itself is just so beautiful. And it's just so full of all this this pain, all this toxic stuff that exists, I truly think that it's just from massive pain and from trying to cover that up. And our world likes to give that permission to cover up that pain through these quick fixes that really don't do anything. And so through this journey, like, you will begin to notice that. You will look at the world differently, but it also allows you to have that permission to set the new tone, especially for those people directly in your circle, around you, through your voice, through your mission, through your work, to make our world a better place. But just know that you will likely never look at the world the same. Basically, it's referred to as like unhoodwinking yourself. You're basically taking off that cloak and like, whoa, there's a lot here. There's a lot of pain here. There's a lot of just stuff. And that's okay. Through one person, through one listen, through one conversation, through one therapy session, through one just experience, I do truly believe that our world can shift and pivot. But it all starts with ourselves, and we have to be willing to do that work. And the fact of the matter is, some people just aren't, and that's okay. And we have to know that that's okay and just focus on ourselves. Number 8, kind of really, I didn't even remember I wrote this one down before I went into all of that, but you can't go back to your old self. That's the thing. It's like, once you start this, like, there's no way, like me just saying, if I heard this before I started my journey, I don't know if I would have started. It's like, now I can't imagine ever going back to the old way that I lived. It's so unrelatable. I'm unrelatable to my old self, which is super, super interesting. So just recognize that once you kind of start this and you get this awareness and you kind of work with yourself and you raise your consciousness and you find alignment, it's going to be very, very hard to go back, because why would you, when you when you discover this new, better, best version of yourself and you work on them and you pour love into it and you show up every single day for them, you're not going to want to go back to your old self. And that's a beautiful thing. And that just shows that you're growing and you're shedding and you're stepping into this new version of yourself. Number 9, don't lessen your greatness, your energy, your knowledge, your mission, your power, your beauty, your creativity, your everything that's beautiful about you. Don't lessen that around others who are subconsciously intimidated by you. What often happens is, energetically, we all operate at a frequency. And this has been a new learning for me. And what I've been realizing is that those that are operating at a lower frequency, and this all happens subconsciously, they will almost feel resistance towards you. Have you ever just met someone and you just don't like them and you don't know why? It's because there's something energetically happening there, right? Your body's like, ooh, this person shakes me up. And sometimes it's because someone shakes you up in a good way, but it's too much awareness, or they have too much belief and you don't. And so oftentimes what happens in those situations is we turn our light down. We dim ourselves, right? Because we want to make those around us comfortable. We want to be liked. We want to be seen. We want to be validated. We want to be appreciated. We don't want to be the black sheep. We don't want to be the odd one out. We don't want to be, the center of attention. So what we do is we dial ourselves down. And I very much stopped doing this. And it was kind of the best decision that I ever made, because it's allowed me to just excel myself and orbit those good people into my life. But reminder that if you're on this journey and you're growing and you're becoming unrelatable, and you those people around you are becoming unrelatable, never lessen who you are, especially if it's a beautiful quality and giving something of service to the world and to others. Do not dim your light to make other people feel happy. And again, this happens at an unconscious level. I do this all the time and I don't even realize I'm doing it. And this is something I'm trying to get better at. But notice if it's happening. Notice if you find yourself lessening your greatness around certain people, because we will end up doing that in some way, shape, or form. It's inevitable, but the more that we can become aware of it and work on it is going to be huge. It's going to be life-changing, and it's going to allow you to fully step in and claim that best version of you. Number 10, it's the best thing I ever decided to do. That is my 10th lesson. It's the best thing that I have ever decided to do. And the interesting thing is, when I first began this journey, I didn't consciously know I was on a self-development journey. I just knew I needed to work on more self-love. I was at therapy at the time. I had a huge aversion with myself. I was dealing with an eating disorder at the time. I was dealing with a lot of flashbacks, a lot of freeze response, a lot of dissociation. And one of the main things was to become safe in my body, safe with myself, and to work on self-love. And so I didn't even really know this was all happening. And it's kind of just all harmonized itself together through the last 2 years. And I feel like now that I'm here, I've almost paused and reflected, and I'm like, I didn't even really recognize what was happening, but it's the best thing that I've ever done. Going all in on you is really the best thing that you can do and that each of us can do. Imagine a world where every single person was living in alignment, was living to their true potential, was speaking their truth, was living in their truth, was trying to create a world of a better place through their own unique gifts, through their voice, through their experiences, etc. Imagine a world in which existed out of that frequency. It would be so much more beautiful. And I think that we can get there through time, but it starts with self. So know that through everything that I shared, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I wouldn't change it for the world. And I hope that if you are on your own unique journey, and if you're tuning in today, it's likely that in some way, shape, or form, you do want to better your life. You do want to, grow. You do want to excel. And that's a beautiful thing. Don't stop. Keep going. Turn it up. Know that it's okay and you're worthy to live that life and to claim that power that is within each and every one of us. I truly hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you are listening to this thinking like, I would like to, maybe talk to someone and deepen my relationship with this and just maybe learn more, I am offering free 30-minute calls to listeners of my show to book with me, to tune in, to come and just chat. I'm not going to sell you anything. This is not like a sales pitch. I just want to get to know you guys and to help you get to that best next version of yourself. And my goal of that is to just connect and see where you're at and see if I can support you along that journey. And so that is what I'm offering right now. I truly hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope it sparked something within you. I hope that if you are also on your journey, it gave you some permission to know that it's beautiful and it's amazing and to keep going. And if you're at the beginning, keep going. You're worthy to just be around people that support you to excel you on that. So thank you guys so much as always. All the love. I look forward to chatting with you all next week. Bye, you guys. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's episode of Rewire to Inspire. I absolutely love connecting with you all, so make sure you're following me on Instagram. I am at Jessie Brown 13. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to leave a review or share with someone you think would enjoy. I look forward to chatting with you all next episode. And remember, get out of your head and into your heart.